Tory Lanez is facing 22 years in prison. His mugshot's looking like a high school yearbook photo. Tory Lanez has been found guilty of shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. Apparently, the Canadian rapper fired at Megan after a heated argument in 2020. The subject has been a very controversial matter for the past 2.5 years, but the case has finally come to a close. Daystar Peterson, who's better known as Tory Lanez, has been convicted of 3 felony counts. 1. Assault with a semi-automatic handgun. 2. Carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle. And 3. Discharging a firearm with gross negligence. Now, I do just want to quickly add, this is a clear act of recklessness, and if he did in fact do this, his dumbass deserves every second he's getting right now in the slammer. Because I mean, who in their right mind is gonna pick up a loaded weapon and fire 2 rounds into a woman's feet over a heated argument? Like, logically, it just doesn't make sense. That's why this whole time I've been finding it hard to believe any of this even happened. The only thing I can really compare this situation to is the lunatic who just shot and killed Takeoff for no reason. He's arguing about some stupid shit, he gets angry, pulls out a weapon and starts shooting aimlessly. Anyways, y'all, let's backtrack a bit and talk about what led up to this moment. Tory was born July 27, 1992. His initial recognition came from the mixtape Conflicts of My Soul, the 416 story, released in August 2013. Tory then signed to Benny Blanco's Mad Love Records through Interscope Records back in 2015. They put out plenty of hits together like Say It and Love over the next couple years. Tory released his second and third studio album in 2018. The following year, in 2019, he released his 4th studio album, The Chicks Tape 5, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard 200. Let's fast forward to 2020, the year it all went down. He releases his 5th studio album, Daystar, and this year it debuts at number 10 on the Billboard 200 chart. The album consists of a lot of controversial responses regarding the shooting that happened earlier that year. It's rumored that around the height of the pandemic, March, April 2020, that Megan and Tory actually shared a relationship. Megan of course denies every last statement regarding that, but it's still a rumor. Relationship or not, it's pretty obvious they had a strong friendship at the very least. Megan is seen in the same room as Tory Lanez having fun on Instagram Live countless times. One of those times being the night of the shooting. It's July 12th, 2020. Megan and Tory are seen on Instagram Live attending Kylie Jenner's pool party. As the night went on, you might be able to tell that Megan was a little bit annoyed with Tory. During the live recording, you can hear Megan telling Tory, "Don't wet my phone."
Tory, don't get my phone wet.
By this point of the night, we can clearly see that the tension is rising between the two, but we still don't know why. Maybe it was because he was fucking Megan and Kelsey Harris at the same time. I guess we'll never know. Best friends getting raw dogged by the same petite man. That's tough. The shooting happened in Kylie's neighborhood shortly after Tory, Megan, and Kelsey Harris left. It was around 4:30 a.m. Every eyewitness who's been questioned about the situation has given a completely different story, making it so difficult just to find out the truth. But what we do know is that it was very heated in that vehicle. Kelsey just found out that her and her best friend are seeing the same person. See, that's a tough pill to swallow, man, even for those who are used to swallowing. Megan then tries to justify the situation by telling her the relationship was never exclusive. I don't really see at all how that helps, but alright, I guess. Megan kept quiet about the history between her and Tory because she knew that her best friend had a crush on him. And according to Megan's side of the story, Tory knew this and decided to use that to turn them against each other. As the arguing and bickering continued, Megan eventually just decided to get out the car. She described the situation as unbearable. Her words were, "I don't want to be in this car no more because it's getting crazy." Her friend encouraged her to get back into the car, which she listened. After that statement, for some reason the situation escalated even more. Supposedly Megan had dissed Tory by telling him the only reason he's relevant today is because of that feature with Jack Harlow. Tory responded to this by telling the driver to stop and kicking her out of the vehicle. She got out of the car without hesitation, and according to Megan, that's when Lanez pulled out his weapon and started shooting at her feet, telling her, "Dance, bitch." Tory allegedly shot her in the foot, and she's bleeding all over the road as depicted in this video. She said she was afraid for her life and that she's never been shot before that night. On an interview, she also said she didn't know if Tory was capable of killing her, and that's low-key a pretty scary thought to have, I can't lie. She said after the incident, she fell down and crawled into someone's driveway.
So I get out the car and it's like everything happens so fast. And all I hear is this man screaming, he said, "Dance, bitch." And he started shooting. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like he shot a couple of times. And I was so scared.
So is he in the car shooting from the car, Megan?
He is standing up over the window, shooting. And I didn't even want to move. I didn't want to move too quick, cause I'm like, oh my God, if I take the wrong step, I don't know if he can shoot something that's like super important. I don't know if he could shoot me and kill me.
Were you afraid for your life at that time?
I was really scared because I had never been shot at before.
and Tory's first reaction was to apologize, and according to Megan, he offered to pay her $1 million cash just to keep quiet about the shooting. Now, how true is this incident? Did it really happen, or is Megan just making this whole thing up? California prosecutors and the DA have a pretty valid point when it comes to this. Their argument is that Megan would have never subjected herself to the torrents of public abuse if she wasn't telling the truth. Now, they do make a valid point, because if Megan was lying, all she's doing is subjecting herself to tons of hate. Public abuse and domestic violence are kind of the last things you want to report. But at the same time, that's nowhere near enough to prove a man guilty. But you know what it is? When your own defense witness comes out and says the gunman was in fact Tory Lanez that night, and that he was firing everywhere. Yep, that's what Sean Kelly told the court. His only chance at being found not guilty completely diminished. Sean even went on to say he heard 4 or 5 gunshots at 4:25 a.m. before calling the police. With that being said, Kelly took the stand as the only testifying eyewitness beyond Megan and her now former best friend Kelsey Nicole Harris. Keep in mind, throughout this entire trial, Tory's bodyguard / driver is nowhere to be found. And I can't lie, I find it pretty damn strange that not more people are talking about his disappearance. In the end, Tory ended up having no choice but to plead guilty to all 3 charges, even though initially he was just being detained on a charge of concealing a firearm in a vehicle. Just like a lot of other shit in this video, things escalated fast. But it is what it is, and Tory Lanez is now facing up to 22 years in prison after being found guilty for all 3 charges he was convicted with. After the verdict was released, Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gaskin actually praised Megan for her bravery. He claimed she demonstrated incredible courage and vulnerability despite repeated grotesque attacks that she did not deserve. Sometimes I really don't understand why people get praised just for fighting their own battles. Like, what are we supposed to do? Just give up? Any competent person presented with an issue is gonna try to fix it. I guess I'm the only one who thinks it's common sense. Anyways, y'all, that's enough for this one. There probably won't be a part 2, since he's locked up for 22 years, but I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.